Coming up, why you don't need your Apple Watch anymore. If you have one of these, you have some of these. AirPods Pro 3. They are what all the reviews are saying. They're great. And if you need to upgrade, by all means, upgrade. I needed to upgrade my AirPods Pro 2. The battery life was abysmal, not really getting through much of the day or even a couple hours. So that had to be done. But what I didn't expect Apple to do this time around is actually give us some extra features that could make my Apple Watch obsolete. So if you enjoy reviews or information that are kind of more family focused, more for the minimalist, and for people that are looking to hack the system a little bit here, subscribe, because this is what we do. We try to review products, review things, vacations and stuff like that for families, and try to help you save money where you can. And I don't think people really need a smartwatch. I'll give you some reasons why, but we'll go over the reasons why people like smartwatches. I talked to my wife about this, and her number one reason why she likes it is messaging. She likes to have the constant contact with people around her and the ones she loves. And so, that instant communication is great. And if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, or some kind of professional that needs to be in touch pretty much all the time, I can understand why you'd want a device like a smartwatch. They really are great for those purposes. And if you like yours, by all means, keep using it. The other thing that she really liked was trying to find her phone. Who doesn't like that? I like that when I had my smartwatch. You sometimes misplace your phone and a little ping, find it, things like that. There are some workarounds for that. You can ask your other devices to find your phone. If you didn't know that, we have the HomePods here, and we ask who to find it when she's working. And that's been fine for me. I don't really need a smartwatch to do that. The other thing that people, of course, really like, particularly myself, is I really wanted it for my fitness. I take my fitness somewhat seriously. I do try to work out 3 or 4 times a week in various stages. I like a few different types of workouts, particularly strength training. And I'm not a fan of running. I do like to go out for walks. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of saw the new AirPods as a replacement for my Apple Watch. And it kind of is. So I'm going to go over that a little bit. But a couple more things about why you might want one of these smartwatches, like an Apple Watch. Medical conditions are extremely important to watch out for. And if you have a certain medical condition, such as AFib or sleep apnea or the newest one here, the hypertension, then this could be something that might be beneficial. Fall detection, I think, is probably one of the biggest saving graces, I think, for the smartwatch industry and the Apple Watches in particular, because that actually has genuinely saved lives. And you probably have seen the commercials. Apple likes to roll them out every year saying how many lives they've saved, and that's great. And obviously, those Apple Watches were really important for those people. But I do think probably 9 out of 10 people really don't need a smartwatch at this point, and that your smartphone will do just the same thing. Other useful apps, besides the Find My Phone, of course, you also have Keynote and some of the presentation software. I'm a teacher and I present all the time. I like to use slides and things like that to show basic information, directions, to keep that on the board while I walk around and help my students out in their various tasks. One of the things I do all the time, or did all the time before I got rid of the smartwatch, was use it as a remote. I have a presentation remote, but some people, like myself, tend to put that down and forget where you put it. And walking around trying to find my presentation remote is not really fun. Obviously, there's other ways you can handle that. But having a little, thing to put on my smartwatch right there is great. And that's something I definitely would miss. Having no smartwatch, but there are remotes and things like that out there that you can use. Now, a part of the dislikes, well, one particular dislike actually came from another podcast. I was watching the Waveform podcast with MKBHD. He had a doctor on there who said that pretty much these smartwatches at this moment are mostly for entertainment purposes, not real medical devices that can help most people. Again, like I said, there are the few that do have good luck with these things, but I took what he said and then I kind of went into my own research on it and found that he's not exactly wrong. How many times have you actually checked on all that information that you just recorded on a workout? Heart rate, that kind of stuff, your splits and whatnot. You might check it every once in a while, and then it might help you out here and there. And most of the time, you kind of just want to see that you have an upward trend, that you're doing better, that your maybe heart rate is lowering, as you get more and more fit. Those are the types of things that you can do kind of with a lot of different heart rate sensors. You don't really need to have this one on your wrist at all times. So another dislike that I have is that while I'm not a serious athlete, I do like to work out about 3 to 4 times a week. And my types of workouts are lifting and walking. I'm going to try to get a little bit more into some running, but very light running, maybe some sprinting to get the heart rate up, trying to improve my VO max that everybody thinks people should improve. So maybe I should try it. Can't hurt, right? But I don't really like using the Apple Watch for lifting, for example, because a lot of times it would dig into your hands a little bit. You can move it up, I guess, a little bit more, but I also use kettlebells. Kettlebells have a lot of different types of swings, particularly the one where you're pressing up and it goes behind you. Can't have a smartwatch smacking on that all the time. It won't last, even the Apple Watch Ultra. And so a lot of times I would take it off and not even use it for various workouts. For walking, I don't really think I need, a particular Apple Watch to log walks because the phone does this now. It has this ability, and with these little guys, you can track your heart rate on that, and it's just like an Apple Watch, 100%. It's got the miles that you do. It's got a GPS on your phone, so obviously all of that's being logged. It's got the little location and the little map that's always nice. And even then, like I said, with that waveform podcast with the doctor, it's entertainment based. Like you are getting a little dopamine hit from checking that workout. It's the important thing is that you did the workout and that your body feels better after the workout and that you're consistently improving and trying to keep your body in as good shape as possible, which is what I try to do as a father of 3, getting older now, feeling that time is starting to tip onto the other side of the spectrum. I want to keep at least a little bit more in fit and stay around as long as possible for my kids. So that's my fitness aspect of the watch versus the AirPods Pro 3. The heart rate sensor, by all reports from all the big YouTubers and media, is that this is great and it works almost as good as the Apple Watch. Enough for me anyway to trust it and then to know that my heart rate is either lowering after I do several workouts and I'm starting to get more fit or not. And really with the workouts, you're looking for a trend. You're looking for whether you're going up with your number of steps and you're continuing to at least maintain that amount of fitness. Certainly with lifting, it's like you're feeling like you're getting stronger, you can lift a little bit more, that kind of stuff. I, like a lot of people in over 40 are dealing with some setbacks for various injuries and then slowly getting that back up and moving that up. A simple Apple Notes page with the amount that you're lifting is more than sufficient for what you really need to get done. And again, you want to put in the work. You don't necessarily want to be spending time fiddling with apps and devices and changing out your devices, things like that. 2, messages are also kind of annoying for me. I don't like to be pinged a million times on my watch, and I know that you can change that, dial it down. But if you're doing that, then what are you really using the watch for? If you're not doing it for fitness, now you're not doing it for the messages. I do like that you can ping your phone from it, but we have devices in the house and things like that. Well, that will help us out. The HomePods, for example, you can ask who to find your phone and it will ping it. So you don't necessarily need an Apple Watch for that. I think your tablets and things like that will do it as well, but I don't need another device to ping my phone for me. Medical conditions. like that doctor on the Waveform podcast said, it's mostly entertainment, that most doctors don't really know what to do with that kind of information. And that really, you want to listen to your body. You want to know whether you're feeling sick. You want to know whether you've had a bad night's sleep. I don't really like the idea of trusting some technology to decide for me. Probably the number one thing that I dislike about particularly the Apple Watch, but most smartwatches in general, battery life. All right, that's the number one complaint from most people with this stuff. So, charging it every night is not necessarily a pain, but it's just another device to manage. Going on a trip, having to remember pack a specific type of charger, it's proprietary, is definitely annoying. Can't we just have a USB-C plug for these Apple, like everything else? That'd be nice. And ultimately, it's maybe that neurotic / minimalist in me that says, try to slim down to the least amount of devices possible. While AirPods are not necessarily necessary, I also think, environmentally, I'm not a fan of that. The fact that the batteries can't be replaced, which Apple would do something about that. I use these all the time. These are one of the most useful things at work, outside of work, and now with my fitness that I can recommend outside of your smartphone, which at this point in our society is pretty much necessary, unfortunately, in some cases. And I highly recommend you check out that new fitness app. See if it could work for you. It worked for me. And if it can save you some money by not having to buy a watch, maybe realizing that you don't need this watch and you can kind of let it go, try it out. See how it works out for you and see whether or not you actually really needed it or not. I'm going to say probably not. All right. That's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it and got some value out of it. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to put more videos out that deal particularly with families, products that could help people out like me, struggling to make sense of this world that we live in. All right. Have a good one. Bye.